To start tonight off, we bring you an exclusive feature story on the new student media model that is coming to campus next fall. Our own Nick Budd reports.
Once the university leader ceased its printing operations for the rest of the semester, the president charged a task force of 6 faculty members and 2 students from around the university to review student media needs here on campus and to come up with a new and innovative plan for the future.
And the charge to this task force would be to review the media needs and aspirations of the Fort Hays community, and then to develop recommendations aimed at increasing student engagement and implementing a multimedia model for dissemination of student-produced news, information, analysis, opinion, and, of course, entertainment.
The task force immediately got to work by sending out surveys to faculty, alumni, and students of the university about student media needs, and scheduling a media symposium and a town hall meeting where professionals from various media entities and members of the university got their chance to express their questions and opinions about student media on campus.
Basically, news is all about being the fourth estate, making sure that government doesn't get away with such things, making sure the SGA doesn't get away with such things, making sure that the administration doesn't get away with such things, is not serving the students' interests, serving the interests of the citizen of the state of Kansas, and a whole variety of things. So I'm up here to remind the task force a little bit about the fourth estate.
Once all opinions were taken in, the task force presented their proposal for a new converged media model to President Hammond on April 19th. The proposal calls for the convergence of KFHS, the university leader, and all of the other student media outlets into one converged entity. The current name for the new media outlet is going by Tiger Press. The new media model includes 5 key initial areas, each with their own specific reasoning for being included in the new media model that was presented to President Hammond earlier in April. The web, app, and social media perspective will focus on the immediacy of reporting and will look to provide viewers with the chance to engage in this new model. The new video perspective will look to provide viewers with on-demand video content through regional cable providers and the internet. The main focus in this aspect will be stories that include some kind of visual element, such as sporting and campus events. The print portion of Tiger Press will look to produce stories with a deeper human interest, with a focus on the analysis of complex issues. The printed content looks to prepare both a tangible version that was proposed to be printed 6 to 10 times a year and a web version. Tiger Press Audio will focus on streaming live music and engaging discussions, and will allow students to create podcasts covering different Fort Hays State events and news for listeners on the go. Dr. Paul Faber was able to comment on the importance of journalistic values that should be transferred into this new model.
Well, I think one important thing is the values that have been maintained by the leader, by KFHS TV, KFHS radio, the values of, accuracy and objectivity and immediacy, providing things of interest to people. Those values we certainly want to incorporate.
The final aspect will have a pure focus on the university community. With the disintegration of the Rivoli in 2003, the task force will look to use software that allows users to select content from their years here at Fort Hays State and to produce a personalized yearbook to share with generations to come from their years here at the school.
This Tiger offense, great steal there by Kate.
President Hammond decided to expedite the process and enact the new entity next year despite the task force's recommendations to wait till the following year to start.
I'm not willing to wait. We have too many students that are currently here that can benefit from an improved quality experience of integrating the curriculum and the co-curricular environment in a meaningful way. So we are going to move ahead. We won't get all the way implemented for this coming academic year, but there's no reason why we can't start implementing significant portions of this over the next academic year as we move forward.
We expected that there would be an easing in. The president in our meeting said, let's go ahead with it. For many of us involved with it, that's both exciting and daunting at the same time. Probably all of us have had the experience of thinking about some big project and then thinking, but we'll work out some of those details in a few months.
The new model comes with a costly price tag. The total budget for the project will be around $497,000 a year. Around $237,000 will be allocated in salaries for 4 new staff members, an executive producer who will oversee the operation with a salary of around $45,000 a year, and 3 program specialists in news, sports, and overall production going on a salary of $40,000 a year. Another $191,000 will be allocated for student salaries, with the rest of the budget going to overall operating costs. With the project ready to begin its initial execution phases, I got the opportunity to speak with President Hammond this week to talk about the new project in a wider perspective. To this new media model that you're bringing to campus, when you held your press conference in February calling for the task force, what were you generally expecting from them? Like when you first called it out, what kind of model were you expecting them to bring you?
I had no idea what we were going to get. All I knew is what we had was broken. And what exists in America today is broken. I mean, when you see major newspapers, closing down, when you see, the Times-Picayune, the newspaper for the city of New Orleans, one of the major cities in the United States, going to a 3-day publication and the rest is online, the world's changing. And so knowing that what we had on campus is broke and knowing what is out there in the world is not working very effectively, I thought that this was a unique opportunity with the demise of the leader's financial position to rethink the whole media concept here at Fort Hays State University.
To a year from now, what do you expect to see out of this new model? Obviously, it's a transition year, kind of, in a way, but you called for this to start right up next year. What do you expect to see in a year?
Well, what we've made the decision to do is we're not going to waste time. The initial report from the task force was let's call time out for a year. Let's continue to do business as normal for a year, and then let's plan to implement something a year from now. I don't think we can afford to call time out. I don't think we can afford to waste a year. We've got people graduating, people moving through our programs that are going to need a different kind of experience, and I believe a totally integrated media model is what they need, and that's what I heard at the symposium, and that's what we heard in the final report of the task force. So I made the decision to move forward now. So we've taken our current existing model that has standalone student newspaper, standalone defunct yearbook, standalone radio station, standalone TV operation, and what I've said is we're going to have one totally integrated media model for next year. To accomplish that, I'm in the next, I'd say, before commencement, we'll be appointing the board for the new entity, and they will be asked to spend 2 to 3 weeks coming up with the right name for the entity, coming up with bylaws and operations and a transitional plan, what they think they can get done in this first year. And by the time I get back from China, I expect that they will have some of that worked out and be able to make presentation to us and recommendations as to what they would like to see. We'll then look at what we can afford. Student government is committed about $75,000 plus and change. University is going to match that on a one-time basis out of using some strategic planning money for this coming year. So what can we get done for about $150,000 in this first year? They were estimating they're going to need about twice that amount of money to fully fund the operational model. So you're asking the question, what do I expect in the fall? I expect progress, but I don't expect the fully integrated model to be totally operational in the fall.
This new model brings a variety of opportunities to all members of the university. As with any form of innovation, it also requires plenty of risk to be involved. Several questions will be answered in the coming years about converged media on a university campus right here at Fort Hays State. I've had the opportunity to report for KFHS for the last 3 years, and I hope to bring my talents to this new media model that is coming to campus next year. So for the final time, reporting for KFHS News, I'm Nick Budd.
You can view Nick's full interview with Dr. Hammond on our website at kfhs.net.